Alright guys, so just a few things to remind you of before we jump into some examples of truth tables. So if you recall, P and Q are just some statement. Now we don't have any specific examples for these, but just remember that a statement has to be either true or false in every situation. The squiggly means not. The pointing up arrow means and, pointing down means or, and then the arrow means if then. So just recall some of those symbols that we assigned a definition to in class. So let's look at some truth tables. So if you remember, I said in class that P and Q always are either true or false. So notice in this one, it asked me to find not P. So I am on page 5 of your notes. So I only have one variable, one statement, P, which is found in the first column, different than some of the truth tables we did in class where we had P and Q. So this is just P. An example would be, I have on a green shirt. I either do have on a green shirt, and that is true, or I either do not, and it is false. So negations are always the opposite of what they started. So if P was true, the negation would be false. If P is false, in this line, the negation would be true. So now I'm going to take this column, the not P, and that's represented right here, and I'm going to negate this column that's highlighted in blue. So I'm going to negate that one right there. So in the blue column that's highlighted, the first line says false. So the negation of that false is true. The blue column, the second one, says true, so the negation is false. So there's your completed truth table. Now in the next one, again I still have P. I'm comparing P with not P. So the first thing I need to do is go in order from right or from left to right. So here, my very first column says not P. So that means whatever P was, I'm going to make it the opposite. So P was true, which means not P is going to be false. P is false, so not P is going to be true. Now in this one, it says P or not P. So now I am not just looking at P, but I am comparing both of these columns, P or not P. So here, in this first row, I have true or false. Well, with or, I only need one true, so that is actually true. In the next column, I have false or true. So I only need one true, so that one is true. Now, in the next column says P and not P. So I'm going to be comparing the same two columns. Instead of doing or, though, I'm now going to be doing and. So I have true and false would be false, because with and I need two trues. False and true would be false. So that is going to finish out your truth table for that one. The last one on that page, I have P and Q. So again, I told you guys in class that this would always be the same if you have P and Q. Notice that the rows, I went from true and false to 4 scenarios, because now I have another variable involved. So the first box says not P. So not P, I'm going to look at the P variable. So P was true in the first line, which means not P is going to be false. P is true in the first line, so not P is going to be false. P was false in the third line, so not P is going to be true. Last line, P is false, not P is going to be true. So now I'm going to move over to the next column. Not P and Q. So I'm going to compare not P and Q. So I'm going to look at these two. And if you remember with and, they had to both be true. So I'm going to have true and false, which is going to give me false. I'm going to have false and false, which is going to give me false. I'm going to have true and true, which is going to give me true. False and true, which is going to give me false. So there are all of your values for that first page of examples.